Morning. Good morning. No, not enough. Is it enough now?
No,
No?
hold it more like this, please.
Like this?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let the last few people get settled. And then we will have our moment of silence. All right, thank you. As usual, the first thing is to introduce new residents. I don't see them in the room, but today our newest residents are Lou and Nancy Tykonovich. Oh, there they are. Like many of us, they're from somewhere else, but actually moved here from fairly close, from Blacksburg. So welcome to you both. And then, as usual, the next thing is Jan's update.
Thank you, Lee. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have nothing but good news today. Okay. Trademark. So an agreement has been reached to resolve the Kendall trademark situation with Kendall Crosslands. So the TKC board, which is the Kendall Corp, and the KCC board have approved the formation of a Kendall trust to hold the trademark. There was a little bit of back and forth, but they have come to an agreement. TKC will serve as the brand manager, and there's no date specifically yet as to when they'll sign them, but I will keep you posted. So that is good news. I wanted to let you know that our team, management team, met with Mountain Gate Community College and the Chamber last week to discuss different ways we can partner to enhance our recruitment efforts, as well as increase the potential pool for our workers. They do have a good relationship with the high schools like we do. We want to continue to expand those possibilities. We discussed CNAs, certified nursing assistants, the RMAs that we use over in assisted living and RNs, as well as the skilled trades. So we are all working together to try to get folks interested. We already host a lot of the clinical students from Mountain Gate over in our Wharton Health Center for their clinical rotations. And we've also established some internships for skilled and unskilled trade students out of the high school and Mountain Gate as well. So we are just partnering. I want to encourage folks into the healthcare industry and to take advantage of 2 of the state programs that Mountain Gate is associated with to reduce the financial burden on those going to school. So quite a few of our guys were able to get free education, which is always a good thing. I think it's the first since I have been here, but we are going to be participating in an Alzheimer's walk this fall. We do not have one here in Lexington. We would like to eventually establish one, but right now we're going to be walking in Fishersville. So mark your calendar for September 14th. That's a Saturday, and we will be getting more information out about that. And mowing boundaries. So we continue to receive quite a few comments on our established 2024 mowing boundaries from all of you. We're happy to continue to accept those comments, but just a reminder, we will not be changing those boundaries this year. So 2024 is set. We invite you to continue to let us know how you feel. And the Land Use Advisory Group will actually take those comments into consideration this fall as we reevaluate next year. And then last but not least, tomorrow, May 16th at 3 o'clock, we will be having our open May board meeting. So you are invited to attend in this room at 3 o'clock, the board meeting. And you're welcome to be here. It starts at 3, typically goes to about 5 o'clock. So we will see you there, I hope. Any questions for me?
Yes,
Yes,
of course, I have a question.
it's got to be a positive one. I will accept no negative.
With regard to the open board meeting,
Yes,
one thing said we don't need to be there for the whole meeting.
you do not.
May we come in late as well as leave early?
Can you come in late? I guess, if you have to be late. Can't you be on time? It's a pet peeve of mine. Please be on time. Yes.
Can you clarify a little more about the branding thing? I don't, it's a
Sure.
little hard to grasp what that's gonna mean.
Well, we don't know yet, so it's positive. We've come to an agreement that both the TKC board and the KCC, Kendall Crosslands, can live with. The biggest concern for Kendall Crosslands was their expansion territory. They wanted a 50-mile radius that they could expand and we couldn't. Well, we said no, because that included Barclay Friends, that included the Delaware office. There were a lot of things there. So they did actually come to an agreement on a 25-mile radius. We carved out Barclay Friends. So that's a good thing. The other thing was, from a management perspective, if we ever brought on any new people, how could they use the Kendall brand? If anybody had left, how would they not be able to use the Kendall brand? So all of those things are in that agreement and have been agreed upon. I have not technically seen it yet, nor has it been signed, but we've come to an agreement. We can continue to use the Kendall at Lexington name and not have any issues. So if we were to create another like community, we could use it. If we decided to start a home health care agency, we couldn't use the Kendall name because it's not a like. Yes.
Doesn't that stem from the fact that Kendall at Crosslands had the name first?
Yes, doesn't that stem from they own the name? Kendall Crosslands owns the Kendall name.
Right, and so that's why there's a negotiation and all of this.
Trust and every, yes, so
coming
that's
from
why we're putting it into a trust so that we can all continue to use it. Because Kendall at Crosslands does own the name. They were the original Kendall. So it's gonna go into a trust, and like TKC has for years, they've made sure the brand is not misused. They've made sure that nobody else takes our name. They will still continue to manage that, and they will be the brand manager. It will not be KCC, but those two will kind of own the trust together, and all the affiliates will be trust members as well. Does that answer?
Still confusing, but a bit, yes.
Okay.
But the California people are never gonna call themselves Kendall anything?
They'll use the Kendall, some use the Kendall affiliate, like Collington does not have Kendall at Collington. They have Collington, a Kendall affiliate. Enzo Village is a Kendall affiliate. We are actually Kendall at Lexington. There's Kendall at Hudson, Kendall at Oberlin, Kendall at Ithaca. So we can still maintain our name as it is now, as can everyone else. Yes, Sally.
Is there someplace we can access the agenda for the board meeting?
Is there someplace we can access the agenda for the board meeting? Where's Stephanie?
I can send that out.
Stephanie can send that out.
Right.
Good question. Yes, Sally.
I saw recently that this month is your 4th anniversary of being here. Is there some reason you haven't listed that on your list of positives?
Yes, I, on May 4th, celebrated 4 years with Kendall at Lexington. Yes. And yes, that is a positive. So thank you. We're working on year 5. And I love my job.
Thank you, Dan. Brian Burton is up next for a dining update.
Sure, okay. Hi, good morning. How are you? Can you hear me? Good, good. So the original plan was to introduce our new staff today. Unfortunately, our new staff is currently working on lunch and preparing lunch. So we'll have to plan that for another time. The transitional time between breakfast and lunch is very, very difficult, which falls right now. And so they are currently working. If we have them all up here to introduce, then that may delay lunch services for the majority of the building. So I do apologize for that. But we do have some new staff members. You might have seen them in the dining room. You'll probably see Kat. You've probably seen her out and about in the lobby area. You probably have noticed another young lady by the name of Mary, long blonde hair. You probably have seen her. And then we still have some of the ones that have been here for a while, such as Petra. You probably have seen her before also. And also we have a new chef. I'm sure you remember, or I don't know if you know Chef Matthew, but tall, slender fellow, usually has like a golf cap on. So we're gonna make sure that he's spending more time, and same with myself, in the dining room, getting to know everybody. But just wanna do some quick updates today. We've had some additional questions and concerns in request for healthier options. We are working on that. We are listening, and we are trying to determine what that means. So I've used different analogies, but you're gonna see a lot more question and answer in regards to that, and some surveys. We're starting to put together, gather some information, gather some surveys. That way we can drill down on that and figure out what this community, what you all want. And so just be patient with us as we do that. But you'll start to see additional offerings, such as items with brown rice and other things like that, as we are listening to feedback. Also, too, want to thank those that participated for Mother's Day. So feedback was very good from what we understand. If your feedback, remember, we're staying positive. So if the feedback was not good, let me know. On the side, we'll have a little side conversation, but again, taking the time, making sure the items are prepared correctly, making sure we have staffing in place is very, very helpful. Another item we do have coming up, we do have a Memorial Day. So we're planning on just kind of a traditional food or traditional cookout. So on that day, on Monday, we're gonna have more of a hamburger, hot dog, watermelon slice, things like that. So for those that are here in attendance, I know some of you travel or are out of town on that Monday, but again, kind of just more of a cookout style food on that Monday. Also next Thursday, we're gonna be doing a cookout over in Borden. So we're actually gonna have, we have a special catering for our Borden residents, and we're assembling that, and Stephen and I will be our main cooks over there. Our dietitian and myself putting together with our activities committee something a little nice for them too. That's gonna be next Thursday, again, as we kind of work with our staffing and different things like that. So as far as the updates, I was gonna spend a little bit more time going over and introducing, but like I mentioned earlier, just with our staffing today, we need to kind of skip on that. So for those that have never met me before, I came in September of last year, moved into Buena Vista in October, and have been here ever since. So some of you may recognize Stephen. You want to stand up, Stephen? So come on down, Bob Barker would say. But Stephen is our registered dietitian. He's also my second in command, the assistant director of food service. And so very, very helpful as far as I go. Candace, you want to raise? No? So Candace, you can stay there. Come on, Candace. Yeah, so, she is one of our, she is Stephen's right hand. She's, and my right hand also helps us with the healthcare portion of what we do. So healthcare supervisor and helps us across the board, from catering, from our restaurant, everything in between. So a lot of us are functioning as Swiss Army knives along with our normal tasks as far as that goes. I did want to set aside a few moments. If you have any questions, anything like that, as far as that goes. So yes.
Memorial Day, 1 meal or 2 meals?
So as of right now, that's something that we're still debating on that, because again, we're planning on the hamburger, hot dogs along that. So I will get back with you as far as that goes. So I don't know if they want back-to-back burger and hot dogs. That's the question. Any feedback on that? We'll find out as we get some additional feedback. Yes.
Could you give me an update on Remington?
Yes, great. And I'm going to share this with you because it is available. It is publicly available on Facebook and other places. But he went into surgery, just to give you a little backdrop on that. He went into surgery last week. Okay, so the question was, let me just put it out, an update on Remington. An update on Remington. So I'm going to give you a little backstory. So for a while, as far as we know, he was cancer-free, but he had a growth that was cancer-free, but was attacking some of his organs. And so he went and saw a few specialists. At the end of the day, he ended up at Indiana State University Hospital, and he actually had the same surgeon that Lance Armstrong had. I don't know if you call that luck or fate, but he ended up over there. Recently he had the surgery. His surgery was 7 hours. They had a lot of things they had to work through. Currently very well as far as recovering, and he's actually home. I spoke with him over the weekend, very, very good spirits, and just thankful for the prayers that were answered and all of that. So just, there's more information, but doing very well. You know, he is free of the mass. The mass was very large, 8 inches by 4 inches by 8 inches. So they removed all of that. And they're expecting a full recovery, 8 to 10 weeks. When I spoke with him over the weekend, I had to slow him down a little bit. He's like, Brian, I want to get back in the kitchen. I'm like, well, you need to get home first, right? So he got home over the weekend, doing very, very well. All he wants to do is just get back in the kitchen and get back to Kendall. And so we're gonna be hopeful for that. We're planning for that, but still with the amount of recovery that he has, about 8 to 10 weeks. So we're expecting a full recovery. I told him, I said, I don't know if this is the medication talking or what, but he was tracking very, very good, like run around the neighborhood good. And I'm not his father, but I kind of give him that fatherly advice. I'm like, just pace yourself. We'll have you back as soon as we can have you back. So great, but yeah, that's just, and that is available on Facebook and other media outlets. So I'm not sharing anything that's not currently available. So anything else? Any questions that's on your mind? Anything else? Our restaurant is still open Thursday and Friday nights. So reservation only. So make sure you attend that if you can. Chef Sean's doing a great job over there. So you're all every week. Excellent, high quality food as far as that goes. Okay. Thank you.
Marketing is next.
Good morning. So a few quick updates. Our wait list as of today is 189 with 46 people on the ready list. We have 3 people moving in June. Al and Alice Nillis will be here on June 5th. They're moving into apartment 207. Barry Colson, yes, will be here on June 6th. He is moving into apartment 12. And Alice Williams will be here on June 13th. She is moving into apartment 106. So be sure to welcome them as they arrive on campus. We are still 98% reserved for occupancy. We do still have the same 3 apartments that we had open last month, open this month. So doing our best on that front. Some updates on the hiring process. We are in the middle of interview process for Katie's position. So we have 5 candidates that we're bringing in for a first round interview this week and next week. And hopefully we'll have more to share by the next meeting. And on May 20th, which is next Monday, Sharon White, who many of you may know, will start as our move-in coordinator. And I'll share more about that role and introduce her at the next meeting, but excited for that. The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly is today, if you are here, you can pick up your key cards or your key fobs. They will be in the back of the room with Kathy. I would need you to initial that you have picked them up, and you can have the option of taking one of these that will go with the card if you want to, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It'll just save more for later. I am a human being, so it's possible that I did not get your choice right. If that's the case, please see me and I will do my best to remedy that situation. You will need to turn in the key card or the key fob and pay a fine if I pay for a replacement card if you change your mind. But if I was wrong, then you will not. But hopefully I got everybody right. I just know there's probably somebody that said, I didn't want a key card, and I'm sorry about that in advance. So they're not active yet. We will share more when they are active. So just hang on to them for now. I imagine that by the time we meet in June for this next meeting, the doors will be active. So any questions on that front? Yes.
I have a question about the new residents that you mentioned. Where are they from?
Oh, okay. Alice Williams is from Lexington. Al and Alice Nillis are for Staten Island. And then where's Barry from?
Just outside of Nashville.
Barry is from just outside of Nashville. So, yes. Any other questions? All right, I'll let Kevin take it. Thank you.
Good morning. So since our last RA meeting on April 17th, I've had 12 tours, tryouts, and meetings with folks from Blacksburg, Haymarket, and Lexington, Virginia, a lot from Lexington this past month. Also Basking Ridge, New Jersey, Fairhope, Alabama, and Roslindale, Massachusetts, suburb of Boston. All of that has resulted in 4 new waitlist members since last month. From Haymarket, from Lexington, from Vero Beach, Florida, and from Roslindale, Massachusetts. So that brings our year-to-date new waitlist members to 16. So we're continuing to run slightly ahead of pace for the goal of the year of 30. And total sales activity these last 30 days has been kind of crazy, but when I add in phone calls and emails to the tours, tryouts, and meetings, it adds up to 1,304 sales activities in the last 30 days. So Eric and I have been busy.
Yes, you have, and we need that too. Okay, coming up next is Todd Peck for facilities.
All right, good morning. Good morning. Last time I went down a list of 12 or 14 different projects and gave you the updates on each individual one. I'm going to talk a little bit more on a couple different things this time. Most of those projects, the update will be the exact same as last time. A lot of our big ones are still in progress, that were in progress last month. A lot of ours that are moving slowly or not at all, like the elevators, are still moving slowly or not at all. So that list is very, very similar to last month. There are 3 with changes that I will highlight to y'all. Roofing Phase 2 project is underway, as you all know. I've gotten a lot of questions and comments about why aren't they here today? Where are they going? What's going on? They are at the mercy of the weather. They are not a local contractor, so they will not mobilize and come here and book their crews into hotels and everything else if they don't think they can get 3 solid days of work in the week. So they will look at the weather forecast and they will waive off for days at a time or an entire week if they can't get 3 in a row, because it just doesn't make sense for them to book up 16 guys in local hotels and everything else that they're doing to get the project done if they're going to get rained out and can't get it done. So they haven't quit and left. We haven't run them off. We had a change in the foreman, but they're still working on that project. They built several extra weeks into their schedule to account for weather this time of year. So just look at the weather report, and if you don't hear nail guns and you see rain, there's a connection there. Another update to share with y'all that's a change from last time is our pressure washing contractor I've met with twice, and we're working out our schedule and our rotation for that. As you may recall, we do a rotation of pressure washing here. I can't do the whole 84 acres every year. We did, I think, some of Sycamore and the cluster cottages in 22 last year with Sunrise Ridge. And this year, the area of focus is going to be the main Anderson north-south board building that's done, and we'll work on that rotation. So he was here with me. We're working on whether his equipment will reach, or we'll have to rent a lift and things like that. More to follow, but that's a new one that's at work. And then the third thing I'll mention project-wise, we had another fire marshal visit about 2 weeks ago, focused on the healthcare side of the place. We got 5 write-ups on that. We've corrected 4 of them, and we have a plan of correction for the 5th one. It was a little frustrating because he was the fire marshal who approved the original construction 20 years ago. And some of the citations were for construction things that had his name on, saying, this is how I want you to do it. And now I've got cited and I'm being told to change it by the guy who told us to do it the first time. I didn't point that out quite that explicitly to him, but we did verify that was his name on the original approvals. But anyway, none of them were major fire hazards. None of them were showstoppers. None of them are what I would be concerned with. They were things like he wanted an additional smoke detector in a room that had one, but he wanted it moved 6 feet, things like that. So pretty minor in terms of what the fence is. Pretty major if you see the Johnson Controls bill of what it takes to move a smoke detector 6 feet. But none of them were safety concerns, which is good news for us. Okay, so those are my quick updates. I do have 3 things I want to mention to everybody just to get your help on. If you have a leak, a flood, or a spill, please let us know. Mopping it up and cleaning it, a lot of people choose to do that themselves. There's a lot of times more to the story than that. We've had some issues with damage from long-term water damage, basically mold or mildew or damage underneath things. If you have a major leak or flood or spill of some kind, please let us know so we can come in and check and make sure it's not just a surface wipe up and we're good. And it may be, depending on the flooring and the extent of it. But please let us know so we can assess so we don't have water going places it's not supposed to be, where you can't see it and it can cause us some problems down the road. If you are traveling, which I suppose is, you're all here today, so not y'all, but anyone who's watching this from Zoom land or anything else, if you are traveling and gone for a long time, we do get the away notifications and we track that. Thank you for helping us with that side of the system. Please do not turn your HVAC unit off completely if you're gone for a significant amount of time. It can cause issues with humidity, with temperature, with expansion and contraction in the spaces and things like that. So if it's summertime and you're going to be gone for a while and you want to turn the thermostat up so it runs very little, that's great. That helps our electric bill. Everyone loves that except Dominion Power, but that's okay. Just please don't turn it off all the way. With the humidity and the temperature swings we have here, we can have moisture, we can have condensation, we can have some other problems with that. Depending on how long you're gone and what your thoughts are or what you have in your apartment, in your residence, if you have any questions with that, just come talk to me or Cole and we'll give you some suggestions and try to tailor it to your specific circumstances. And the third and last thing I'll ask for your help on is if you see nests or pests or critters or bug tracks or something like that, please let us know. We have some secondary issues that come from that, and sometimes people knew about it, like, it's okay. But we've had some structural damage in some places from things that in many cases, not all, but in many cases were known to some folks, but not known to the folks who needed to take care of it. So if you have stuff like that going on at your residence or near it and you see, just please let Kathy or I know so we can stay on top of it and just make sure it's not going to cause any second order problems down the road for us. Okay, that was my list. Do y'all have any questions or anything for me? Okay, thank y'all.
And next on the agenda is Diane Herrick for our C&E update.
Thank you. I want to tell you about some of the activities coming up, but first of all, I talk sometime about our screening activities or games, but I want to point out something that the C&E committee coordinates, but we don't always note it, or I don't when I talk to you, and that's our movies. We have movies twice a week. And Margaret Fletcher, if you would stand, please. He does a wonderful job of selecting a wide variety of movies, and the write-ups, they're well worth reading. Every single time she has a witty way of telling what the movie will be about. I'd also like to recognize our projectionists, which make it happen so that we can actually see them. Joe Scovira coordinates the list, Karen Russell, Helen Staley, Madison and Catherine Brown, Elizabeth Harrelson, Shay Peters, and John McGran. And Vic puts his hand in and helps too. Let's thank them. And another part to the C&E that we don't note all the time is keeping the buses or getting the buses going. We have Karen who helps coordinate that, but Doreen takes care of that on the Folsom Logan, takes care of that for the committee. Beth Tuttle sends out the notices, reminders, and Ellen Smith takes the money. So we are very appreciative of that too. So let's thank them. And now some of the activities. It was kind of a bummer yesterday to have to cancel or change where we were going to have conversation outside because we couldn't because of the weather, and to have to cancel going over to VMI today for the parade because of the prediction of rain and thunderstorms. So we'll keep trying to do that. In the coming 2 weeks, we have 3 different residents who are going to be giving talks about trips or past experiences, and we're really pleased about that. Sue Pipo is going to talk about her most recent trip to Africa. And Susie Lynch is going to talk about how she lived off the grid in the Alps for 7 years. And I think that will be interesting. I've heard her tell some things about it. And I think I want to hear that story. And in a minute, you'll hear about a talk on Memorial Day celebrations. We are going to go to JJ's Meat Shack next week. So that's over in Buena Vista. And if it's nice, we'll be outside on the patio. And if it isn't, we can go inside. There's plenty of room there. Following up in June, we had a wonderful series, Kendall College series, where we learned about the first Virginians. And we found out that the Monacan Nation is going to have a powwow on June 1st over in Amherst County. And we're going to have a bus scheduled to go over there. So you can look in the newsletter and up on the board for more details about that particular trip. And then the Browns are still planning the trip over to Parkersburg to see the house that they have lovingly been restoring, and that should be a good trip. So look on the bulletin board for that. Our Ridge Boys, they're going to give another performance. We're delighted to know that they will be coming back and giving another one. Our dining out in June is going to be to Taps. They have a wonderful outside patio there, and we hope it won't rain, but one never knows. And then we have also arranged a trip to the Brownsburg Museum. Brownsburg is a lovely small village up in the northwest part of the county. And they have a museum and a wonderful exhibit going there. And we will take a box lunch and eat at the old Brownsburg store, either outside or inside. And that too is worthwhile seeing. And then on Wednesday, the 19th, the Sunnyside House Committee will be giving a program. There's more coming up, and please do look at the bulletin boards, read the newsletter. And something else that isn't part of CNA is Felicia Soon is going to be giving a talk about the audit report. I know it sounds kind of dull and dry, but I think as a resident, it has really been so informative to find out more about the finances for Kendall. It's a complicated financial model. And I think as residents, the more we know about our community, it's better for us all to take advantage of every opportunity that we can to be informed residents. So thank you.
Okay, Nancy Ruley is going to tell us about the gallery changeover.
The art gallery changeover is next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Bill and I will be there to collect your new things you want to display and to take down the old. This will be our last time to do the art gallery. The Harrisons have kindly stepped up to take the art gallery from us. And so therefore, from now on, the Harrisons will be giving you a beautiful art gallery. And so it's next Wednesday, 1 o'clock. Take down and bring in your new things.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy and Bill, for all of that work over the years. Bob, you want to give us the Memorial Day scoop?
Thank you. Very presumptuous about the art gallery though. Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, a national holiday in which we recognize, remember, and memorialize the people who have fought for this country and the freedom and life that we now live. Since the start of America, we've lost over 1 million Americans fighting for our rights and our freedom. We do have 2 events in addition to the special meal. At 10 a.m., we're having our twice a year Kendall Veterans Cafe in the restaurant. We have 42 veterans who are residents here at Kendall now, and they and staff members who are veterans, as well as any family of veterans, are welcome to join us. We're going to change a little bit of our approach in that we're going to try to remember, and by the way, as you age, your memory gets selective, remember the fun and good things that happen when we serve. At 4:30 p.m., we're honored to have a presentation by Chip Hunsinger, who was 30 years in the Navy, retired as a captain, who has extensive experience with ships, obviously. And he's going to give a talk in Kendall Hall at 4:30 on the 62 naval ships that are now out of service and memorialized with various museums around the country. And there's actually a number that are outside the country now. So I would encourage you to listen and watch what Chip has to tell us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dennis? Dennis is going to introduce our guest from the Rockbridge Area Health System.
Thank you. I serve on the board of directors for the Rockbridge Area Health Center, and they have been located near our Borden Center, have an office there for I don't know how many months. I thought it might be nice for them to come up, some of the staff to come up and give us a introduction as to what are they here for? How can they help us? If you have an agenda, I am not going to talk for 15 minutes, but they might and answer any questions that you have. So let me introduce Suzanne Sheridan, the executive director. She's not here. Okay, you're going to take it over, Mike? Dr. Mike Henry is the medical director, and several other staff will be coming up with him. Thank you.
Dennis and the rest of the residents, thank you very much for giving us this time. And I also like, I also like to thank Jan and her team for working with us on this. I'm Mike Henry. I'm a family medicine physician and also the medical director. It's been about 2 years since we've talked to you and since we opened our clinic up here. We just thought we'd like to just reintroduce ourselves and kind of update you on what's going on. So before I do that, I want to introduce you to the team that are here and that are support this. So hopefully work way down.
Hi, I'm Bobby Ramsey, and I am Dr. Simcoe, who is at the end of the line. I am her nurse.
Hi, I'm Melissa Tomlin, and I'm patient access, so I'll be one of the first ones you see when you come into our office.
I'm Faith Ruggiero. I am patient access as well. I fill in for Melissa when she is out and come over just to visit.
Hey, I'm Becky Watts. I am the nurse for Dr. Clevenger. We are here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Lori Ashbridge, I'm a community health worker. I can help with signing people up to Medicaid, sourcing durable medical equipment, or just finding financial assistance program.
I'm Nicole Lovell, medical assistant for Dr. Clevenger.
I'm Dr. Rihanna Simcoe. I'm a family medicine physician caring for folks of all ages and stages.
I'm Dr. Roger Clevenger, internal medicine physician. I'm here on Tuesday and Wednesday all day.
Who are we? Rockbridge Area Health Center. We're here to provide the highest quality comprehensive health care to anybody seeking access. Anybody seeking access, regardless of ability to pay the insurance or not. What is it? We have medical care, which is pretty much what you see here in the team. We have behavioral health assets as well as dental assets. And I'll talk about those in a couple of seconds. Currently, as it was mentioned, Dr. Clevenger's here from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Dr. Simcoe will come here about once a month and see patients. Unfortunately, I had to bring Dr. Simcoe back because of some staffing issues. Where are we going? I've hired a new nurse practitioner. She's new. She's got a lot of experience, but she's new as a nurse practitioner. And I'm looking to bring her and see patients here opening up on Monday, again, 8 to 6. Dr. Clevenger will probably stay here Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then I'll be looking to bring Dr. Simcoe back on Thursdays, again, 8 until 6 as well. I think I can get all this done no later than Columbus Day, hopefully sooner. The problem is I've got a brand new provider. I just got to make sure it works. Okay. Other things that we can do. So as a medical team, we take care of physicals, annual exams, but we also do annual wellness visits, those Medicare visits. All right. That I'm sure if you're on Medicare, they're bugging you about, you need to get this done. Let me just set some expectations. We don't like it really, that exam, because it's a no-touch exam. So please understand that. So we'll do the annual wellness exam and then probably schedule a follow-up on anything else we need to follow up with. We can do chronic care disease management, the diabetes, the hypertension, coronary artery disease, working with any specialists that you have in the community. Acute same-day visits. You know, I've got a fever. I have shortness of breath. Women's health, which is Dr. Simcoe's our resident expert. And I talked about some of the things we're planning on, talking with Jan, you know, we're trying to see how can we bring a behavioral health component here to patients who are seen here. A lot of it, like anywhere else that in healthcare, it's manpower shortages. We're trying to find a behavioral health, either a licensed clinical social worker or a licensed professional counselor that we can bring here at least once a week. It may be in person or it may be via telehealth, which we do back at the other clinics. And that if we did something like that, it'd probably be on a Friday. And then also, Jan brought up a great idea on, we have, if you didn't know, we purchased these $500,000 mobile units. There's a medical one, which we take to the various towns around here, as well as the schools, and do physicals and things like that. But there's also a dental mobile unit. The dental mobile unit is 2 operatories, so 2 chairs, a Panorex, and other radiological capabilities, and see how we can maybe schedule bringing the dental mobile unit here and providing some dental care for those that don't want to or can't travel as far. All right, so we're working with Jan on that. So those are some of the changes that we're looking to make. So all in all, it's been 2 years, want to reintroduce ourselves. And if anybody is interested in registering, becoming a patient, we are right next on the other side of the physical therapy in our clinic. If you come in and you see Melissa, we can fill out any paperwork you have. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a relationship with Carillion?
Yes, ma'am. We're a fairly qualified health center. So we have relationships with Carillion, Augusta Health, UVA, and actually Lewis Gale as well. So if we need to send somebody, let's say for a consult, we can't send everybody to Carillion or UVA. We ask the patient, what's easiest for you? So Dr. Todd, Dr. Whitmore, the ortho team, we work with them. The other thing about what happens, and one of the requirements that we have as a fairly qualified health center and a patient-centered medical home, is that when one of our patients who's registered to us goes to the ER, is admitted to the hospital, we're notified, we get the documents, they're sent directly to us, and then we schedule that follow-up appointment, making sure that what we can do to help or help you if you need specialty care, setting that up. So we can do that. We also have relationships with Lexington Prescription Center. A lot of people like to use that because we can use 340B with that, some of the discounts, and then also Walmart. The nice thing about Lexington Prescription Center, which you may know already, is they will deliver here, which is pretty nice. I think it's a great team. Any other questions? All right, again, thank you very much for your time, and
well, that wraps up the formal agenda for today. Anything in the audience that needs to be raised? Anita?
Can you hear me in the back? Yeah. I'm usually up here talking about Trex and the plastic film. So just a reminder, 6-pack rings are not plastic film. 6-pack rings. I took about 2.5 dozen of them out of the container this morning. The other thing that is not plastic film is styrofoam. It doesn't stretch. We can't compact it. So please, just be careful about those things. Thank you. Oh, man, one more. Bags that have netting, like bags of oranges or apples, those bags, even if they have some plastic film on them, cannot be put in there with that netting. So sorry about that, folks. Otherwise, we're doing really well.
All right, is there anything else? And I think we're at an end. Have a good day and a good week and a good month.
Thank you.